So do you want to talk about why acoustics is so important to kind of get right the first time and why it's good to think about it early on?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that acoustics is a topic I think a lot of people are just inherently interested in because it's not something that you can see or feel. It's a bit of like a smoke and mirrors. People think there's a lot of that going on with acoustics, but there's a lot of science and a lot of art to it. And what we wanted to do with this podcast is just create a space where people could get their questions answered. We can talk about different topics and give people some tips and techniques and make their situation better. You know, and it's really I like sharing knowledge. It's I know that there's sometimes when people have a lot of knowledge about a topic that's a bit of a Wizard of Oz scenario where it's just like there's nothing to see here behind the curtain and I know all the things and you don't need to know the things. Like for me, I'm an open book on all of that, and I would like to share it because it's only going to make people better. And so with this podcast, we're going to focus on a lot of different topics, but acoustics in general is going to be the focus. And with acoustics, it's so important, especially let's just talk about studios, for instance. You got to be able to trust your room. If you are, let's say you have a mix room and you're spending hours upon hours mixing a project, and then you take it to another system and it sounds nothing like what it did in your room. It's wasted time. Your product isn't as professional as it could be. You got to be able to trust what you're doing so that you can be efficient in what's happening. Sure. And the other thing with acoustics is you want to make sure that you're able to not disturb your neighbors as far as like sound isolation, because that could be something where you could be limited in what hours you can actually be creative. And we all know, we're all musicians, like you may get a spark of creativity at 2 a.m. And if you can't go use your studio at 2 a.m. because you might disturb somebody, that's going to hinder your process. And so it's very important on that front too. But the biggest thing is that we all love gear and different things that we put into these studios, but you never get the most out of that gear unless you have a good acoustical environment. You could put the best speakers in the world in a room, and you're never going to get the full value out of that if your room is too echoey or there's too much bass buildup or cancellation. It's just important to get the acoustics right. A lot of times I'll say acoustics is similar to like the referee in a basketball game. Like the best games, you don't even really know that they're there. They're just doing their job properly, and you're able to focus on all the other things. And that's what we want our clients to be able to do, is just to be able to trust their room and know the acoustics are working. It's not even something they have to think about. It's just like they can spend their energy being creative and being inspired in their spaces.
Cool.